All right, guys, Rich Schneider here, joined by Chris Nalwasky again. Chris, thanks for joining the show again. We're going to do another quick TKR Power Hour type thing. We're going to talk some Rutgers football, Rutgers basketball. We'll just see where it goes, kind of, I guess.
Yeah,
First things
sounds
first,
good.
37-30. Big win. Big win versus Purdue. I don't know if any of us projected that win. I don't think anyone saw it coming either.
Yeah.
It was very impressive. I think everyone projected the loss except Anthony. I think Anthony actually projected the Rutgers win, so good for him.
There
Uh,
you go.
I guess let's just start talking about that game. What are your first thoughts? Your first thought that came from that win?
Yeah, no, I remember I picked them before the season started. I picked Rutgers to beat Purdue, but then for prior to the game, I predict Purdue to win. So maybe I was half right there. I don't know, but Rutgers, obviously, really they play without Noah Vedral. They played a lot better in the second half. They, ran the ball more with Giant Langan, and they really protected the ball. And the defense stepped up, and they just did a really good job. Trey Avery did a really good job on Rondell Moore. He, only had a couple catches. Um, that was probably the really big thing in the game where Moore didn't really do anything crazy to score or anything like that. Um, Rutgers obviously they played a better defense today in the second half. I talked to Mike DeVerta today. He mentioned they really just chopped their job in the second half, again with all the chop stuff, but it's what they say. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if Vedral is going to start this week, but the combination of Sikowski in the first half and Lang in the second half really did it for them.
So I always forget to mention this. If you guys are watching and you're not a premium member on TKR, we have a deal going on right now. It's only $75 for a year. That means $25 off. On top of that, you get your choice of a $75 gift card to Adidas or Nike. Check out the site. Go to the front page, a little thing like at the very top right there. It says click on it and then go there for more details. But going back to the Rutgers Purdue game, just talk about quarterbacks a little bit. Archikowski didn't look horrible. Didn't look great. Didn't look horrible. It still looks like he's still kind of not going past that first read at all. It looks like
Yeah.
he's staring down receivers. A little trying to think who was the last one. A little Gary Nova, Leonte Crew esque type thing going on.
Mm.
I know Nova had struggles with it early on, staring down Leonte a lot. It looks kind of. I mean, he didn't look bad. 19 to 28, 152 yards, two touchdowns, two nice touchdowns. Um, I mean, what are your thoughts on him overall and his performance?
Yeah, he really started. He really started out well. It looked like he had turned the corner. He threw the couple touchdowns to Shamin Jones. He really did good on those throws. But then we saw the Arsikowski the past couple years. He started staring down the receivers. He started getting a little shaky in the pocket. He almost threw more picks than he didn't, I guess. But it looked like he turned the corner, but then I thought Sean Gleason was smart and went with Langan in the second half. We'll see. I mean, it's good to see R get in the game. He obviously started, like we mentioned. But yeah, yeah,
That's pretty cool to see what Langan did. I mean, for a quarterback to have 21 carries is kind of incredible, for at least for Rutgers standards, I should
yeah.
say, because they're just not used to having that mobile guy. But this week, it's not gonna. It looks like it might be a little rainy, a little muddy. So I'm kind
Hmm.
of intrigued to see if they go, if Vedral can't go, if you go a little more Langan again and just kind of keep pounding the rock between him and your running back trio, I should say,
Hmm.
of Pacheco, Young, and Adams. I think Adams. We think we talked about this separately. Kid deserves more carries. I don't understand.
Definitely does.
He got one carry this past week, but then he had that big touchdown reception. He looks like he like more snaps in general. I shouldn't even just say carries at this point. It was like what a
Yeah, yeah.
something yard touchdown reception,
I think it was like 62, 66, something like that. Yeah.
which is I mean very impressive. Plus, I know he's a little bit smaller compared to Young and Pacheco, but
Mhm.
man, you got to get this guy more carries easily. Like
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know the running
He's
game.
been he's been arguably the most productive back right now.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue that at
Even
all.
maybe even more so than Pacheco too.
I know it's crazy to say. I know Pacheco's another game there. He didn't even get, I think, 4 yards per carry.
Hmm.
I know he's struggling a little bit, but the run blocking hasn't been the best either, which I get. But when you have Kieran Adams behind him, who's got 5.9 yards per carry on the year,
Hmm.
you gotta give the kid more carries. And then don't get me wrong, Aaron Young, very good player, great receiving back. he actually didn't look that bad in blocking either.
Mhm.
But he just hasn't produced on the ground at
Yeah.
all. I think it's almost time where you kind of say some fans on the board suggested it, and they used him at the slot last year a little bit too. I think you got to move him to receiver and see what you got
Mhm.
there. I know it's tough because you got obviously Cruikshank right there, but I don't know. Put him there, see what you can do, and
Mhm.
I guess it's tough. It's tough because you want running backs, you want to have as many good backs as you can. So definitely interesting. Wide receivers, Shameen Jones, I think he might be both of our surprises of the year. I think that's hard to argue anyone else on offense.
Yeah, he's been really good this season.
Another 88 two-touchdown game, which is, jeez. Melton looked decent again.
Mhm.
Nothing crazy. A couple small catches. See what else we got here. I'm looking at the stats right now. I'm kind of surprised. I don't get it. The Trey Avery PFF grade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it was, which just
It
doesn't.
was it was it was lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have to look into that a little more. I'm trying to get someone from PFF to like, I guess that grades the Rutgers games. It's hard
Mhm.
to find because they have so many people do it. I think they have 4 per game, I believe it is, or something like that. And then
Okay.
they have 4 people afterwards look it over again and regrade and fix. And that's why we wait kind of so long for these grades to come out. And they'll fix a couple things. I know even like there's a stat correction this week. I think it was forget the Rutgers one of Rutgers SIDs told us it was something about
Yeah, it was the quarterbacks. Either Sikowski completed another pass, or in Lankin. It was one of those. I forget which one. But somebody completed a pass for like 11 yards.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, I mean, overall, there's not much more you could say. It's a great game, big win for Rutgers, and it makes you think if they snag that Michigan win in triple overtime, and the Illinois game was within
Oh,
reach.
another game was close.
You're talking about a team that almost had 4 wins at this part of the season, which I don't think anyone predicted.
Nope.
Any beat writer, anybody. Uh,
They definitely shown an insane amount of progress, and
yeah,
less practice time there with everything going on is pretty remarkable.
yeah, it is incredible in that with like everything you said. They barely had a summer. They
Hmm.
barely had workouts, all that. It was just it was incredible, like you said. And looking back at like the numbers again, just the fact that this team was down, 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 and kept crawling back over and over. I know Shiana likes to say they kept chopping nonstop. Uh, it's just they have fight in them, and it's fun to watch. So
Yeah.
overall, this game, I guess let's move on a little bit. Let's talk
Mhm.
Penn State. I don't know how much research you've done on Penn State yet, but they're not a good team. They aren't good at all. They had 1 win this at this point of the year. I think they're 1-5,
1-5, I think. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, they lost Journey Brown 900-yard back last season to medical retirement. They
Hmm.
lost their tight end Pat Fryermuth to injury. I think
Hmm.
he's probably just going to declare after that. I think he's one of the top, if not top, tight ends in the draft. I might
Yeah.
be.
Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Was it lost then?
You might be right. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
I'm
sure.
not 100% sure when it was, but obviously he's out.
Yeah.
That's 2 weapons right there. And on top of that, Sean Clifford's been at quarterback for them.
Mhm.
He's had his moments. They also have Will Levis, who Rutgers fans are somewhat familiar with, former Connecticut guy. Showed a little interest in Rutgers early on during the Ash era. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I mean, I think Rutgers matches up pretty well against them.
Mhm.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I know the other day, well, you asked head coach Greg Schiano about his time at Penn State. He kind of like just kind of put it off, like, it's another game. He said it wasn't a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. Can't say that word until Rutgers starts to beat them, which I agree. Obviously Rutgers fans, I think, have more hatred toward Penn State. But the players really want to win this game. Obviously, Mike Tavares talked about today really wanting to win the game. Even Aaron Young, who's from Pennsylvania, he really talked about it. He talked about it being, like wanting to beat the home state school pretty much. So I think all the players are juiced up. I think they're going to be ready to go. Fun fact: one of their receivers, Jahan Dotson. He's actually cousins with my babysitter back in the day. So it's a little nugget right there.
Yeah, another former Rutgers target, John Dotson.
Mhm.
He's been looking good so far.
Yeah, he's been really good. I think he does punt returns too, if I believe correctly.
Something like that. My biggest concern with Penn State is they have Sean Clifford's not the most mobile, I should say, but he leads their team in rushing yards. So it's
Mhm.
like he is mobile enough to catch Rutgers off guard if they're not paying attention or running a QB spy or whatever they have to do to stop him. He's not the Williams kid from Illinois. He's not going to torch you on the ground. Still, it's something to watch, and especially with Rutgers' struggles against option quarterbacks, it's a little tough. I know he's not going to run the option, but he does run quite a bit. You'll see it in Anthony's piece coming out probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm not really sure when that, breaking down the Penn State schemes and all that. You'll see a couple schemes where it's literally just Clifford recognizing blitzes, recognizing edge rushers, and just sprinting straight down the sideline. And I think he ran for like a 20-yard touchdown last week against Michigan.
Mhm.
Man had, I'm looking at it now, 9 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 29-yard touchdown rush. So it's something you got to monitor if you're Rutgers. He's dangerous at times, but there's also times where he's throwing 2 picks. Games against Iowa and Maryland. I'm so indifferent on him. I'm indifferent on this game. I know the spread's 11.5, and I think that's ridiculously high. Like it went up, which is even more insanely high. But I think it started out 10.5. I just looked before on the Barstool Sportsbook app. It says 11.5 now. So I think this game comes within a touchdown or even a field goal at that point. Can Rutgers trust Ambrosio though?
Yeah, you know what? He actually looked a little. I don't want to say shaky because he pretty much made almost everything, but he looked. It wasn't as perfect as it was the past couple of games. So
yeah, I mean he doesn't look horrible. I think what was his long kick so far this year? 42 yarder, but I you gotta question it a little bit, the whole kicking situation. I know whatever happened with the Vidovits, he was a good kicker for them.
yeah, he was.
Fava was 6 for
And
6.
then Fava did well in the first game, so I don't know what happened.
6 for 6, and Fava actually has a longer field goal than he has in the 44-yarder. So it makes you question a little bit about like, hey, what the heck happened here? Like, just stick with one guy. There's no reason to go between 2 and maybe even 3 at this point if they put the Vidovits in at kicker, like place kicker.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, one thing I'll add something else about the game. Today they were talking about with the players about how they've been competitive with Penn State the past couple years. Obviously they haven't won, but they said it gives them more confidence, and they feel like they're more prepared this year too, which always is a good thing. I think this new coaching staff is obviously is leaps and bounds better than the previous staff. I think that's made a huge difference, and obviously Penn State still has a lot of talent. They recruit well, but I think this week is going to be different.
Yeah, I really think there's a legitimate shot here for Rutgers to. I don't even know if you want to use the term takedown because Rutgers technically has more wins or higher up ranked than the Big Ten standing. So it's weird to say takedown, but Penn State's been that thorn in Rutgers' side for so many years that to get this win would be huge. Not even it'd be a big little boost for the program too. I don't know how much it would help insanely recruiting wise. Penn State's always going to have those top 25 classes regardless.
It's the brand.
How many good bad seasons they have. But it would definitely help. It's definitely a start. And like Shiano said, you got to start winning if you really want to consider these guys rivals. They're not your rival. I hate to say it, but you have to start winning these games. And at the end of the day, Shiano also mentioned recruiting battles. I can't think of the last true recruiting battle that like a kid Penn State wanted that Rutgers got. It's probably looking back to Shiano's days, to be honest. Right?
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and that's one. I talk about that in a second because I can bring up a weird point about that.
Okay.
I'm actually just gonna bring it up. How are all these good running backs, like Rutgers target running backs or Rutgers commits at one point, all are phenomenal at other colleges? Jamar Jefferson's dominating at Oregon State. John Lovett was the starter at Baylor. I don't know if he still is. Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. There's someone else I can't think of off the top of my head. There was another one and I can't think. But regardless, all these running backs, they're always committed. They can just never get to that end point. On the bright side, they did flip Aaron Young at one point off of Michigan State. They got Shadi Salam, kept him away from, I know Michigan, someone else offered after he committed. So, I mean, the running back recruiting has been phenomenal. I can't can't fathom that every other position.
And technically, Raheem Blackshear switched to a flip too. So
True. I forgot about that. Was it Temple or Michigan State or
Michigan State, I believe, yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember, to be
I think
honest.
it was Michigan
I know he was committed to Michigan State. I don't know if he ended up committing to Temple and then flipping.
State. Okay.
Weird recruitment again, but
Yeah, I mean he's obviously not at Rutgers anymore. So
he's down there at Virginia Tech, but probably regrets that one.
yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he hasn't played much.
It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Let's see. Anything else football wise? I mean, there's a lot of transfers in the portal. I know you never covered recruiting, but it's kind of weird because they were all former Ash targets. They all went away, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're back in the portal.
Yeah, I saw it was unique that I saw that Ahmad Anderson was in the portal and he just played against Rutgers. Obviously, he was committed to Rutgers. He had like a big party, when he committed, and then
He had a club party, and they're like, oh yeah, come to this club, like he's committing, and like you see the video, like we ended up doing it through. I don't know if this was before, I guess I ran the site.
Yeah, it was. I think it was beforehand. Yeah, I think so.
Ty Live, aka like NJ.com of Staten Island, did like a little live video stream, and there's club music going on. There's a DJ, and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? It was a definitely unique commitment. I'll give him that. Yeah, I don't expect him to come here. I don't expect Rutgers to really show interest in him.
Right.
On the other hand, Yusuf Terry out of Philly, Fran Brown actually got him committed to Baylor without even visiting campus. So it's an intriguing one. I could see Temple pushing very heavily for him.
Makes sense.
I don't know if Rutgers will push heavily or not yet. It's still in the early stages. I'm trying to think what else.
There's a lot of receivers on the roster too right now.
Yeah, that, and you have 2 already committed in 2022. Yeah. You have 3, I think, in 2021 or 2. I can't remember. Braden Fox, Max Patterson. I feel like there's a third I'm missing completely. Anyway, regardless, all these guys sign next week or 2 weeks. So it looks pretty good. Looks pretty promising. I know the only one that's not official yet, that's going to sign early, Albert Reese. He's planning on visiting a few schools. He wants to, you can technically take an unofficial visit, but it's not, I don't know. It's not NCAA sanctioned. You can go to the campuses, check them out, walk around, just no contact with the coaching staff, no contact with players. So he's going to do that. He's going to check it out. Apparently he's supposed to come up to Rutgers at one point in the next week or so. So it's going to be interesting to see that. I'm intrigued that more kids didn't do that. I know it's tough because it's on your own dime at this point, but it's still, it's a cool concept. You don't get to see obviously students on campus, but you get to check out maybe your future home. So other than that, let's see, football wise, I can't think of anything. Oh, there's Rutgers is targeting another actually a defensive transfer portal guy. I'm gonna save that one for the war room though. Just give you guys a little hint on that. We'll see that Friday. What else we gotta talk about? Basketball, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
3-0. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. All double-digit wins.
Yeah.
One technical loss is Gio Baker. That's going to hurt a little bit. I don't know how much it hurts because I think Paul Mulcahy's been okay in the role, I should say, but Jacob Young's taken over scoring. As Mathis looks better. Cliff looks solid. Miles looks great in his actual 6-man type of role, if you want to consider it that.
Ron Harper Jr. has been phenomenal. He's added to the Wooden Award watch list.
That was huge. I know people that don't watch basketball as much as I watch football. The Wooden is like the Heisman of college basketball. It's huge, huge honor. It's an intriguing team, I should say. And now they're going to go up against Syracuse. I believe as of right now, that's their next game. Syracuse on the 8th, without their center Burama Sidibe.
I saw you posted that. I'm not going to attempt it.
I mean, it's going to be weird without him, but the cool thing is that I was looking at, I shouldn't say cool thing for Rutgers fans, because it's probably the bad thing. Their backup center was rated pretty high out of high school in Slovakia or Slovenia, one of those two. He had like a crazy stat line the other day against Bryant. I think it was, hold on, let's see if I can pull it up real quick. He had like
against Peter Kiss and Bryant.
Yeah, Peter Kiss. Peter, I missed 2 game-winning shots in a row. Kiss.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's not good. That would have been interesting if they beat Syracuse, but it would have hurt Rutgers net. And
yeah, I mean, the first game last year against Bryant, it was a nail biter.
Yeah. Okay. So this center had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals.
Wow.
So I know it's Bryant. I know Bryant's
Right.
they're they're not good. They're very bad.
Yeah, have a game, man. Have a game.
The fact that this center had 9 assists, 5 steals, I don't even care about the points and rebounds at that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's like 6'10", 200 pounds. So I mean, I'm sitting here like, damn, all right. I'm like almost 200 pounds. Like,
Yeah, the good thing is that obviously they'll have Rutgers has Cliff, they have Miles Johnson, and even Dukor and maybe Reber
yeah,
to come in and guard them. So
yeah.
not-
Reber's been a little surprising. I mean,
he's been shocking to me.
yeah, I've been told by like a couple. So we've said this on the boards too. I've been told by a couple scouts like before the season, like even when they took Reber first, they're like, why? Why is there was a fellow mid? I don't even, can't say fellow. There was a mid-major coach at one of these AAU events that said, I don't know why the hell Rutgers just took him. He would have been great for mid-major, but high major they didn't like him. They didn't think he was that good. But Peichel saw something in him, and he doesn't look half bad. He looks decent. I saw him playing some minutes at the 4, which was intriguing. He's kind of like a true 4, like an old school 4, but one that could shoot. He could dunk. He hasn't been bad. So
He's scrappy too.
yeah, I'm interested to see how he develops. I know he's not the most athletic kid, I should say, but interesting player. What else? What else we got? Mawat Mag looked good. Looked pretty. He looks really decent. I think he'll develop into a really nice player.
I like his defense. He has long arms.
He reminds me of a more athletic Eugene, kind of.
Yeah.
Like Eugene was kind of like that guy I want to sit in the post, whereas Mag can kind of run from pretty much anywhere based on the beat, if you want to say that.
I think, and the one thing encouraging about this team is even without Baker and even Caleb McConnell, I know the teams aren't the teams they face haven't been like the best, obviously, but considering everything like that, they've been winning by obviously, like you said, double digits like that. Like that's huge, and they're still ranked this week. They're still number 24. I thought they would move up a little bit, but yeah, it's good to see them ranked. And hopefully, Geo Baker gets healthy soon and maybe played against Syracuse, maybe not, but hopefully by the Big Ten season.
Yeah, right now it doesn't sound too optimistic based on what we've heard about Jake back. Even if he doesn't come back, I still think they should beat Syracuse by probably 8 to 10 points around that range. 3-point shooting has been awful. Awful. 29%. What?
I think Harper Jr. is like the only one that's like doing pretty well there.
I had it pulled up before. He was the only one so far I've seen that's actually putting up decent numbers, but for the most part, the rest of them it's just been awful shooting. The cool thing that has looked better, I gotta pull up these stats again real quick. But Harper's been great. Harper's averaging what, 21 points a game?
I think it's about 21. Yeah, 21 points.
I can't underestimate or understate the effect that Montez Mathis has had on this team. The fact that he's jumped up to 15 points per game is huge. It's crazy to think because I don't think most people have realized this. He's averaging the same amount of points as Jacob Young. Just because Jacob had that one big game, that 24, 26, something like that.
Yeah.
Just because he had that. And Jacob's been pretty consistent too. Jacob's shooting 47% from the field. And then, Ron's shooting 37, going back to Ron, 37.5 from 3. Jacob's shooting 42, almost 43% from 3. The rest is all shooting 0%. Mawat Mag's 0%. Geo Baker, before he got injured, 0%. And then the weird thing is that I guess Reber, who was hyped up as a 3-point shooter, hasn't taken one yet. Palmquist took one, I think, but he only.
I think he's only made one. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. It says he's shooting 33. So I mean, it's got to go up. Montez looks so good shooting them in practice in like the clips we've seen, and then he's looked good in pregame warmups too. So it's like he has the shot. It's just a matter of figuring it out.
He improved on his 3-pointers last year. So I'm sure once he gets his confidence from there, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Overall, I'm very impressed by.
Yeah, Ron's on another level.
Yeah, Ron's on another level. Ron's been incredible. Free throw shooting, it's below last year's number already. It's at 55%. It's not good.
I think the big reason for that too was obviously Gio was a good free throw shooting. I think Caleb might have led the team last year in free throw percentage. So
Yeah,
that's a big hit.
forgetting that they have Caleb for next year. It's gonna be next year's team is gonna be even. You guys think this year's fun? Next year's team is gonna be fun to watch, especially if Gio and Jacob do come back. It's gonna be the same team. Yeah, Caleb did lead the team last year, 79%. Aquasi, 78%. So you lose.
Yeah, Quasi too. Yeah.
Gil Baker, 77. So you lose your top 3 free throw shooters right off the bat, which is insane. Yeah, this
They gotta get that fixed. I know we asked Coach Pleco about it like all nonstop, and he's like,
probably
"They
too much.
practice."
Gets annoyed by it, but there's
Yeah.
nothing real you can do other than practice free throws. It's
I mean, they're gonna get the questions until they, make them. So
you would think they would do better a little bit though, just for the sole fact that there's no giant crowd yelling at you, distracting you in the background and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with like 3-point shooting. You don't have the best 3-point shooting team, so maybe you don't have the best free throw shooting team. So
also, yeah, it's very possible.
hmm
Jacob Young and Montez have been locked down though. I can't, and that's another thing I can't stress enough. They both have Jacob's averaging almost 3 steals a game. Montez is averaging 2. Heck, even I think Miles Johnson's averaging like 1 or 2. I forget what it was. I think 1.
I think he's got better handles this year.
That little behind the back move.
Yeah,
That's funny to
that
watch.
was insane.
Jacob with his little pro hop he does, or Eurostep, I should say.
Yeah, I think it was yeah.
He does. I know he probably does it a little bit too much at times, and it's kind of it messes him up. I would say, but for the most part, he made this. I can't. The one video I posted on Twitter, he made this one Hofstra defender look so stupid. The guy just didn't shift his feet at all and just literally fell backwards like this. I know he tried not to get the foul or whatever, but still, it made him look dumb. It's kind of funny to watch. Other than that, I mean, the basketball team looks good. I still can't. I think they need another opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know who, when. I don't even know
Well,
when
I
official.
know you've mentioned and I've mentioned they've been looking for a game, but for this week, but it obviously hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I guess you technically don't have to get this week. I know they want it to get one this week. I don't know if it's going to happen anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably too late for that. Yeah.
Running out of time. It's already
and everything.
Ideally, you would have had the game today, or
Yeah.
the game scheduled for Friday. And in order to get the testing done and everything that they need to get done before the game, and even to get refs involved, like even Pikel mentioned it a couple times this season, it's hard to get refs inside their practices to referee like scrimmages and stuff. So just to get them all for the game and everything, it's probably pretty difficult for out of conference ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the schedule now. It's 12-8 Syracuse. You don't have another game for 6 days after that. I mean, that's when Big Ten play starts against Maryland on the 14th. Technically, you could squeeze a game in there on either the Friday, which would be the 11th, or even probably Saturday, the 12th, I would think. You could probably schedule something in between there if you could find someone. It's just, again, it's a matter of finding someone. Most of these teams are booked. Most of these teams, all the local schools are playing like double headers at this point. I saw Iona's playing Fairfield on, maybe it's not Iona. Iona plays someone on Friday, and they play the same exact team Saturday. Quinnipiac. So they're going to play Quinnipiac Friday, Quinnipiac Saturday. They're going to play Rider the week after on Friday, Rider the week after on Saturday. So what their conference is doing is a little different. So that takes up 2 back-to-back games. I'm sure they don't want to play another game within the next couple of days after that. So like that whole conference is out. Seton Hall, man. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Just call the game. Why you're traveling to 4 different places, play 4 different games against 4 different teams, instead of there's like this team down the road that would play like
half hour away.
You might probably.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I've heard rumors. They're not answering phone calls from certain people at Rutgers, and it doesn't shock me. I mean, I watched them play the other day. Bryce Aiken didn't look that good. Came off the bench. The one guy that they do have that I think would start on Rutgers is Mamu. Mamu looks really good. He's probably is their best player, I should say. Other than that, I have a tough time. My cousin's a big Seton Hall fan. He's an alum from there. I have a hard time arguing that there would be another player on their roster that would start at Rutgers. mean, Jared Roden looks pretty solid at guard. I mean, he might fit that 3 role that I guess you could argue Rutgers is technically lacking with. But I don't know because it's weird because he's 6'6", 210 forward or guard slash forward. It's kind of like Caleb Connell that could score more. So, but other than that, like I said, I don't understand why they're not playing each other. I don't think it's Rutgers' fault. I think this is completely on Seton Hall at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I agree.
They got to do something about it. I know if you're a Seton Hall fan watching, you probably hate my opinion of this, but that's what we're hearing. Plus, it's a rivalry game. You play every year. I don't even care where you play it at this point. Just play the game. Play it neutral at Prudential. You can put whatever. Play it at Walsh Arena at this point. I know there's not going to be fans anyways. What's the difference?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe with any team, no matter who, if Rutgers wants to add the game, I'm sure dates will open up and teams will open up with issues all over the place. So
yeah, you see it all everywhere now. Everyone's canceled. I think Duke had one canceled yesterday and replaced it within I don't know a couple minutes. Someone else had something canceled. It's replaced within a couple minutes. It's definitely interesting. It's a weird. Look, St. John's right now just announced they're going to play Ryder on Tuesday. It's such a weird season. I think I hate to say it's cool because like it's not cool, but like it's pretty neat to see how like they're just scheduling games left and right, canceled. Like it's kind of cool to see. It's interesting.
Yeah. I know you put up a post. I think it was yesterday. We're recording this on Wednesday. I think you posted it with like a bunch of all the schools and like their open dates and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was I went through the top 100 of KenPom, looked at all the schools. There's I think I listed 20 schools, 25 schools that had open dates from I guess this past Sunday to this upcoming Saturday. I figured Rutgers would not want to play Sunday if they're going to play Tuesday, but I guess technically you could do that too. So, but there's a bunch of openings. There was Villanova had an opening, which would make a lot of sense, but to be honest, I don't think Rutgers wins a game like that. Texas Tech, little Mac McClung battle would have been cool. Would have been fun to watch. Houston, UNC, I thought would have been a very fun one. I think Rutgers could be competitive versus them. They didn't look too hot the other day. They looked good last night in the Maui.
I mean, they tried scheduling Oregon, I believe. They tried scheduling Gonzaga.
That one was pre-Geo, so I mean,
yeah.
Of a fight with Geo, but at the same time, like, I don't know if you want to play Gonzaga. They're on another level right now. That the Suggs kid they have, Jalen Suggs, I think his name is. He looks like John Wall playing point guard again at Kentucky. He's phenomenal. They have Andrew, I forget his last name, something with an N, who's a Florida transfer, who's a top 20 kid in this class. He's a very good prospect. Trying to think who else they could have played. Looking at the list, LSU, that would have been kind of cool to see Shaq's son versus Ron Harper's son. Let's see, Miami, they've played before. St. Louis, that would have been an intriguing one. Notre Dame had an opening from December 3rd to December 7th, and they even their head coach tweeted out that he's looking for anyone in travel. So, I mean, I think that would have been a perfect one. That would have been top 80 KenPom team. Would have been a solid game. I think Rutgers would have won in the end, clearly, but it still would have been a solid win. I think Rhode Island's another one. They're right there. They're open schedule. I think you need one more game.
Everything is so fluid. I mean, they're trying, so it's not like they're not trying.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst part.
And the women's team has a huge break too. They've only had one game, and they're not playing until the 11th.
That's incredible. And they had it all set for Rhode Island, not it?
They're gonna play Rhode Island, I was told, and then like literally a day later, Rhode Island had to scratch it, and now I think what I was told, like their conference like pushed up the dates for their games, so they're playing UMass now on the day they're gonna play Rutgers. So Rutgers now has another.
It's just you look at this schedule. I know as long as they win games in the Big Ten, Rutgers will be fine. My concern is how many games will they win in the Big Ten? Is it enough to get them in the tournament? Out of conference, you have 323rd ranked Sacred Heart. Awful. I think they were projected last in their conference, the NEC. Apparently Dickinson was projected first in their conference, lost their top 3 scorers this offseason to opt-outs and transfers. They're ranked 260th. Hofstra is ranked 147th. Syracuse, as of right now, is ranked 46th. We'll see what they do later this week. I think they play Ryder and someone else, Niagara, so they should move up a little bit. Still, they're going to be that's their best out-of-conference game. That's it.
Mhm.
So it depends how much they rely on strength of schedule this year, I guess, on the tournament resumes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Rutgers comes out too against Syracuse with the long break if they don't play again.
Yeah.
They kind of got a little sloppy on the Sunday against Hofstra. Plegel maybe alluded to it that maybe it was like 3 games in 5 days deal, but we'll see how they if they're rusty, I guess you could say so.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it now. ESPN has Rutgers as the 185th hardest schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Yeah, so I mean, I think one more opponent. I know technically Seton Hall wants to wait till January, February, but do you really want to play them in the middle of Big Ten play? Or I guess do they want to play Rutgers in the middle of Big East play?
Right.
Probably not, but I guess you could technically wait for them, but you don't want to wait too long. You want to have that game scheduled and ready to go. I think they're waiting on the Big East to announce the rest of their schedule, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. I believe so.
No, they only announced half of it. I don't understand how you announce half a schedule, but they did. So very weird conference, and I don't understand what direction they're even going in anymore. I think they added Wichita this year or last year.
Did they?
Yeah, the conference itself.
Didn't even
Very. They had
it's not really like Big East anymore. It's kind of like Midwest team.
I take it back, not Wichita. They had UConn and Creighton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm.
Same exact schools as before. They had Butler too. I forgot about. It's a very weird conference. I don't understand. I still don't get why you don't name your whole schedule though. Like it doesn't make sense at all unless you don't think you'll play the entire schedule. But even then, you still do it and then figure it out midway through if you have to. But anyway, regardless, going back to Rutgers. Team looks good. Team looks solid. Couple things you got to fix here and there, and I'm sure Piper will mess around with that this week. Free throws being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Rebounding's still there. Defense is still there. He held a Hofstra team to 50 points it was? 6 points. This is the same Hofstra team that last year I think scored 70 something per game. 76 per game, which was good for like top 40 programs in the country. They won 26 games last year. They looked very good against Hofstra, which is promising. So, I mean, yeah, they need some work here and there, but I still think this is a tournament team. I think this is 11. I'm going to say 12, but I don't want to say 12. 11, 12 win, 12 Big Ten win.
Right.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, I'm probably around the same boat. I still think they're going to finish around 5th place in the conference, possibly. I think Iowa and Illinois are at the top. Michigan State and Wisconsin's always good. So yeah, no, I think 11 wins about there is a good number. We'll see if guys get healthy and stay healthy too.
That's another thing. We don't know what
every team really.
And I don't know how much it's going to affect people because I guess you can only do so much in the weight rooms this offseason to stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see a lot more injuries this year, knock on wood. I don't know where, but it's again, you need another conference game. Team looks solid. Montez looks better. Jacob looks better. Ron looks phenomenal. The 2 bigs, and Cliff and Miles, look solid, spelling each other here and there.
Yeah, Cliff is like taking off from the free throw line, dunking all over the place.
I believe his mouth. I said it.
He runs the floor, man, so fast.
I know. It's they mentioned it the other day on the broadcast. They just want to see him do a little back down, just show a move, post move here and there. I don't think he has that in his game yet, to be honest, which is scary to think about. If he could develop post game, that man could be unstoppable down low. He's got the athleticism. He can run with the best of them. He's not afraid to go up on people, which is one of the best traits for a guy that can get that high in the air.
I
Uh,
I could actually I know he's been starting the first 3 games,
yeah.
but I can see Miles going back in the starting lineup against maybe Syracuse or the Big Ten games.
It's definitely interesting. I think either way, when Big Ten play starts, I think they're averaging like what 20 minutes and like 17 minutes or something like that. Yeah, Cliff's
That's
on.
obviously Miles has the experience, so I think personally that's what I would do. So we'll see if Piper does that.
I like Cliff in the starting lineup. I think he fits pretty well. I do think that right now Cliff is averaging 22 minutes, Miles averaging 17. I think you'll see those numbers come a lot closer come Big Ten
Hmm.
play, especially with foul troubles and stuff like that, which they're going to get into eventually, whether people
Hmm.
or not. So far though, like with Cliff struggling last game, you saw Miles come in. I guess Miles. I shouldn't say Miles struggled yet. Really, he's been playing very well. He's averaging 3.3 blocks per game. I think he had 5 last game, which was insane.
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. I think so.
Where
Yeah.
he really showed his athleticism. He got past the defender, or defender got past him at near top of the key, and you saw him come back and get that
Yep.
swat at the very end. He's still crazy athletic. He looks just as good as ever. I still think they need like another scoring threat or deep. They need someone to start hitting the deep ball. That's pretty much it.
Hmm.
It's
I
gonna be
mean, I think maybe we'll see Oscar maybe get more comfortable. Oscar Palmquist get more comfortable and score a little bit more.
yeah,
So I think he can shoot it from deep. So I think that'd be a big help.
yeah, should definitely help a lot. Other than that, I mean, we covered football, covered
Yeah.
basketball. I can't think of much else to talk about. Like we said, women's team, big win. They look pretty good. Only
Yeah.
one so far. Hopefully, they get another one in the next day or 3, something like that.
Yeah. I think I was told maybe like I think they're gonna still try and play a game on the 7th or 8th. So
Yeah, hopefully they get another game in at least before Big Ten play starts coming
yeah.
up really soon. Signing day is coming up real soon. We're gonna be busy. It's hell on the site. I'm not gonna lie. Football season's in full swing. Basketball season in full swing. It's fun. Wrestling media day is coming up very soon. I spoke to someone in the wrestling program recently, and that's planning on happening in the next week or so. So I mean, it's interesting to see if they have wrestling season or not. I guess I should.
About wrestling, I'll be honest with you. I forgot about it.
I
I've been
don't.
so focused on football and basketball right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I mean, if you're having a media day, I would assume they're either having a season or they're going to announce that it's canceled.
Right. Right. Right.
In the meantime, I know Rutgers has, I don't know if you saw it, the Tar Heel Wrestling Club, aka UNC's little club that they have down there. They're having in 2 days from now on Friday, they're having a big event. It's like a pay-per-view event. Rutgers wrestlers Rob Kennard, Billy Janzer, Dylan Shawver, Nicholas Aguilar, Jordan Pagano, Sammy Alvarez, Joe Grello are all in the event. Sebastian Rivera was supposed to be in the event, but I'm looking at the card right now and he's not in the event anymore. But yeah, I mean, if you love Rutgers wrestling, that's a nice little event to watch. I don't know if Fight TV is free or not. It's probably not because everyone charges everyone for
Yeah.
something. But jump a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you like wrestling, it's a cool event to watch. I know Lex is going to be watching. I'm probably going to try to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of
What's the date
wrestling.
on that?
What'd you say?
What's the date?
8 p.m. on FightTV.com this Friday.
Okay.
Tar Heel Wrestling Club Open, it's called, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that idea of doing wrestling events, sort of like UFC pay-per-view stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool to see the college ones do it. I don't know if they'll ever have a professional per se wrestling
Mm-hmm.
league like that. Obviously, most of them go to UFC or something similar MMA. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Other than that, let's see. Rutgers wrestling. We're gonna have more Rutgers baseball soon. I know our new baseball writer Hector. Welcome to the team, Hector. If you haven't said what's up to him, follow him on Twitter under Hector_baseball. He's set to talk to a couple players this week. Burkowski's back. I think Tevin Murray's back, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
They have a JUCO guy in Nate. Nate McLean, I think it is, who's supposed to be a very good pitcher, a very good JUCO guy. I think here I have it right here, 59 to 9 strikeout to ball walk ratio in 51 innings, which is very good. Started 10 games, 7-2 with his JUCO team. I don't want to speculate too much just yet, but it looks like he might be their third pitcher on the weekends. Moving Tommy Gennario back to the bullpen or keeping him. Actually, I'm not even 100% sure he's still on the roster. I got to double check on that. But we're going to have previews on baseball soon. I think this year, if I read correctly, they're going to do Big Ten only for baseball. And they're going to allow the Big Ten to play, I forget what it was, 15 to 20 games or something like that. I got to double check on all that because
of course.
a long way to go.
Yeah,
but
still got ways to go.
This is usually the time where we start writing a little baseball. They usually have their JUCO versus Rutgers scrimmages and all that and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be Big Ten conference only in softball and baseball this spring. They're a good team. I really think Steve Owens has a team on the rise. He's got a couple prospects that are nice. Former top 200 prospect Nevin Slight in the outfield this year. I don't know if he'll be eligible or not. Top JUCO pitcher coming in.
Yeah.
I think this program is going to be better.
Yeah. They brought in a lot of transfers. They've been recruiting well. So
yeah,
I know. We've talked to him. He does. He's a great guy. He's a good coach.
Yeah, Steve Owens is a heck of a coach. He's known for his development of hitting. He's got over a season now, technically.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's had a lot. He's only played coached 6 games.
Yeah, it was not many. Yeah.
They didn't look too bad versus Miami. It's hard to play against because
it's hard to judge against that though.
Yeah, they're a top tier program every year. We're definitely gonna try to get more baseball coverage though. I like covering. You like baseball. Obviously, Hector's gonna do a lot with baseball recruiting and even team news here and there. But yeah, I mean, I think this program's on the rise. I think they'll be one of the better ones in the Big Ten this season.
No doubt.
What else? Anything?
That's it, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll have a lot more stuff in the war room. We'll have our predictions. We'll have some recruiting nuggets, some team nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to give away the score prediction, but what do you think? Rutgers covers?
Let's see. You know what?
I'm
gonna say I don't know. I'm gonna say Rutgers will win. I'm gonna go with the win for Rutgers. I think they're ready. I think they're hungry. I think they'll have more confidence. I know. Actually, the intriguing thing the other day, Shanna was talking about how after big wins, he has done a good job, getting the team ready for the next game. So it'll be interesting. But I think he's learned from that, and I think they'll be ready to go against Penn State.
I went to the Penn State site before, just checking out their forum. I always drop by our links, like our here and there. Here's the YouTube link for Schiano, presser, yada yada yada. Anything to do with Penn State, like I'll drop it on their site, or not even just them. I guess I did with Purdue last week. I try to do it every week, but their site had a question. They go, "Do you think this is Rutgers' biggest game of the season?" I personally said absolutely not. I don't think so. I think Game 1 was the biggest game for Rutgers. You just see what Schiano can do in less than a year. See if this is the right direction they're going. He won. Big win, 7 turnovers. I thought that was huge. I don't know if you could top that game this season.
Man, that's a good question. I think that's actually a really good question. Because I agree with your points, but I'm gonna say this is the biggest game. I think from a fan perspective, it's the biggest game. I would say, from a team perspective, I would say Michigan State game was the biggest game, considering new coaching staff, new season, everything going on. But this game just means a lot to the fans. It means a lot. I think it means a lot to the players. Like I said before, the players really want this game. So it's actually a really good question though.
Bad Penn State team this year though. I mean, I get it. It's a win over Penn State. It's a win over Penn State. Same thing with going back to Michigan. It would have been a nice win over Michigan. It's a win over Michigan regardless, but it's still one of their worst teams of this past 5 years, maybe. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it as that big a game. I know, like you said, fans see this. Schiano says it's not, but fans still see it as a rivalry. It's right bordering states, like he said. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think. I think if it's one of the bigger games, yes, but I don't think it's the biggest. But again, it's tough to say because if they would have lost Michigan State, I'd probably be saying the opposite. So. Yeah.
Hey, what they won? So
Yeah. So I mean, there's a very good chance they get to 3 wins this weekend. So
yeah.
we got to wait and see. But all right, guys. Any questions as per always? Just shoot them on the board. We'll answer them as best as possible. We got to ask the experts going on right now on the round table. As I said, if you're still watching this, you haven't signed up yet. Promo code Adidas75 or Nike75, free gift cards for anyone that signs up. Plus, you get $25 off, which is always nice. But yeah. So anything else, Chris, before we sign off?
Oh, man, that's all I got. It'll be interesting to see if I think we'll get more clarity from Shannon tomorrow, maybe on some injuries. But it'll be interesting to see the game plan for Saturday, and if Rutgers can win.
Yep. One last remark I'm going to say. I'm going to say Rutgers gets pretty creative this weekend with trick plays. I have a feeling. I don't know why, but I have a feeling they're going to get creative. They want this win. So, all right, guys. Rich Schneider right here for TKR. Chris Nalwasky signing off.